and exactly what was said. I can't do that. Just know that you're an idiot.
Love you.
That's really it. But that was like fucking 5 weeks ago.
But it was fun.
Remember to turn phones on mute or vibrate or something.
I put it on vibrate.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
I'm just reminding myself to do that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have an opening.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's this. We've been recording. Anyways.
Oh.
So.
You're fucking kidding me. Oh my god.
For about 30 seconds, yeah.
Stop doing this, man.
Hello.
Why?
Welcome to MoonFriends.
Welcome to the booniest friends you know.
I fucking hate everyone here.
Can you piss in my mouth?
What?
Thanks, we're all friends. Anyways.
What?
Just thought I'd just start from rock bottom so we have nowhere to go but.
Okay, so something I want to try next time, and every time onward from there, is having a good intro.
Yeah. Do you want to restart?
No.
Okay, good. Because I really don't want to.
Here,
I'll give a good intro, actually. In the year 2017.
Okay, so it's Sonic's 33rd birthday.
Is it?
Yes, it's June 23rd.
What a fuck-ass person.
Yay, happy birthday.
But we actually have some maybe, question mark, good things to say about that franchise for once.
That's true. You know what? It's... Despite me having, no expectations this year, it's been a pretty decent year. For video games.
The problem... So we're just getting right into it. Alright, our first topic before we get into Nintendo shit, because there's a lot of Nintendo stuff to talk about. I wanted to go over just some other miscellaneous games that have been announced or have gotten news in the past couple months. Because, Summer Games Fest, Xbox Game Showcase, PlayStation State of Play. There's been a lot. So, where do we want to start? Because... there's 5 games I have written down that I think we may want to talk about. I don't know if you guys have any others. Anno, Civ, Dragon Ball, Shovel Knight, and Sonic and Shadow.
You guys go in whatever order you want. It's fine by me. I mean...
Should we just work our way down? I mean, the first 2 are mine, so we can just probably work our way down.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Sure.
So, new Anno game. Hell yeah, baby.
117.
Yeah. Last game we had was 1800, which came out in... I want to say 2018 or 2019, so it's been a while, it's been a few years, and that game was a masterpiece. I have sunk hundreds of hours into it and stuff like that, so they haven't released any gameplay, it's just been a teaser trailer basically, but from what I can get is the gist is you're basically just going to be a governor of a Roman province and build up your town and your civilization from there, I guess. They've hinted at maybe different regions too. They've had, I think they're saying how they might have the Italian mainland as one region, and then like France, which was known as Gaul back then in the Roman times, as another region, which might be cool. That's kind of a frontier area, so it's very interesting. No idea exactly any gameplay or any stats or anything. Like I said, it was just a brief teaser, but very hyped, very, very hyped for this, because hopefully too, it can take what 1800 was, and improve upon it.
Is it set for next year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So hopefully by maybe late this year, we'll maybe start to see some gameplay footage or concept art, stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes open for that.
Okay, so it's just been the announcement.
Yeah, literally,
Okay.
It was just a teaser, basically, a live action teaser at that. But it was still good.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but it was still I'm very interested in see what's gonna happen forward.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
How much have we seen of Civ 7?
To be honest, I haven't seen much of it as of yet. I think I've only seen the teaser. There may not be that much gameplay footage of it either, but that one should be cool because I do like Civ 6. I know people are kind of conflicted on it. Lots of people say that the last properly great Civ game was Civ 5, which came out in 2010 or something. Okay. So it's been a while. But I like Civ 6. I think Civ 6 was a cool game. It definitely wasn't perfect, but I think it has its cool attributes. I do like the art style, the kind of slightly cartoonish depiction of world leaders and, buildings and stuff. That's definitely not realistic, but I still think they pulled it off quite well. It'd be interesting to see if they go back to a more realistic setting or in style, or just keep with the more sort of cartoonish theme. So it'd be interesting. And also I'm interested to see what kind of civs and leaders they're going to have, because I think Civ 6 has had the most civilizations as in the whole franchise. At least it feels like it, because there's a lot. It's almost overwhelmingly so. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with Civ 7 coming up. But I think that was saved for, next year as well.
Okay.
You were watching some footage of Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, my new favorite low-calorie energy drink.
I'm just gonna keep calling it that from now on because, first of all, Sparkling Zero, I don't know why, but that name doesn't click, and Sparkling Zero in my head does.
I was going to say there's a tradition of Dragon Ball games to have stupid names. That's not true, because I think, Fighters is straight and to the point. Kakarot makes sense. Xenoverse sounds good. Budokai Tenkaichi, that's just Japanese.
Yeah, that's just Japanese.
But Sparking! Exclamation point. Zero.
It's especially weird because it's kind of like a rebranding, because what it is it's basically the Budokai Tenkaichi games. It's exactly the same play style, right down to the health bars and the camera.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I heard earlier in the year that Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was announced. Is this just that game?
This is just that game.
Why don't they just call it Budokai Tenkaichi 4?
Exactly.
But everyone knows it is that. I know it's a long title, but okay.
Yeah. That's
video game industry.
And who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but that's exactly the way I see it, where it's just like, it just looks exactly like it to me. And I've got no problem with the gameplay, other than just some minor nitpicks, where the gameplay looks really good. It's done in Unreal Engine.
Ooh.
So it's really clean, really, really nice. Seems like it runs very well. I'm sure it will be fine on PS5 and whatnot. My only problem is that I played Dragon Ball Kakarot, and I think Kakarot does a great job of, well, it does have some assets like the repeated grass assets that you'll see in every game. I think it's also good at knowing when to play up the anime nostalgia, where it's like, okay, if you're in an area where it always looked like a certain place in the anime, it doesn't change much. It's always that same place. It doesn't have anything added extra to it. It looks as simple as it does in the anime.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I like about that. But in Sparking Zero, Tenkaichi 4, BT4, it seems like they just added a lot more detail to everything, where you can really see the outline of the wood on the house, and it's like, okay, but the whole point is that it's the world is also kind of silly and comedic, so it's like having a pink house, that's kind of silly and comedic, but then when you add the realistic wood textures, you're just like,
yeah,
okay, so someone built this house to be pink,
yeah. I whereas before you don't think about it.
Yeah, before you don't think about it, and now I'm just kind of thinking oh, okay, whatever, and all the grass patches that I saw were just seemed too much almost, and it's just minor nitpicks, but again, it looks really good. It's slated for an October release, and it's got a lot going for it in the fact that a lot of Dragon Ball Z games are kind of the same, where they just retell the story and you just play through it. Yeah. That's kind of the Dragon Ball formula for games. This one seems a bit different, although they've kind of done this multiple times, where you seem to diverge from that path, where it's you can choose who you want to accompany on your journey and choose, and based on your choices, things will happen that may not have happened otherwise.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So I'll give that an interesting little twist compared to Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which is literally oh, something's happening that's not supposed to be happening, fix it. So I mean, there's that, but yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible concept. It looks really nice. It definitely it has caught my attention. So I think for me, the reason why I didn't, because like Drew said, I was just watching a trailer for it.
Yeah.
The reason I haven't really looked too much into it is because there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z games, and you can only play the same game so many times before you're just like, yeah, I'm excited for this new game, but like I'd be more excited if we had a kind of a longer release window. It's like the sequel thing where it's like, oh cool, we're getting a sequel to this movie in 2 years. Yeah, I need about 5 to be more excited for it.
And sometimes they'll announce it before the first one comes out, and you know the critical reception, and you know the sales.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, well, I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, like, am I gonna complain that they're bringing out a new game? It's like, no, I like the new game, but it's like, I'm just not that excited.
Right.
Like, I just the other day, I turned on Xenoverse 2, and I was like, oh, I'm having fun with this, and that was kind of how I got reintegrated into the world of Dragon Ball gaming, and so I was just like, okay, I've had my fun. Like, I don't know. It was just my own little thing. So I don't know. I have no right to complain, and therefore I'm simply waiting for it to come out. I'll probably see what the reception is to it, see how it runs and everything, and then I will likely play this game. Probably not at full price.
Yeah, just wait for a drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all I have to say about that.
I guess the one other thing I want to ask is if you've played it, what did you think of? Let me see if I can pull off the title screen right. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3!
That's one of the many ways that they introduce it.
There's more than one?
Each character says it differently.
Oh, fuck.
One says it super fast.
Who was I just now? Krillin?
You were Krillin. One of them is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And it's just like,
So now there's
that one was really good, and I'm ashamed I got rid of it really early in my gaming lifetime, because it just like it had a lot of stuff going on for it, and it had a lot of like obscure characters that like only had like one-off appearances.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what drew me into it. But it certainly was like a collection of all, because that was kind of before Battle of the Gods and all that stuff and all the super stuff. So it was like everything Dragon Ball was in there.
Yeah.
At the time, it felt like a pretty size. It felt like a collection almost of like all the characters you'd ever wanted to have played as, and even like the most obscure characters. Like you get to play like a character who's literally in like a robot mech, and like you know how Dragon Ball Z characters will like be flying. Well, there's human characters too that like pretend to fight and stuff. So their excuses, they'll give them like cartoony graphics where they're like slowly descending from, like say they get flung in midair, they'll be like running in place in midair trying to like do that. And I like that type of detail where it's just like one of them has like a jetpack to prevent that. But it's just like that attention to detail where they added that type of stuff for every character I really liked. So
that's fun.
Yeah, and they even included like one-off locations that were barely ever touched on more than once. And it's just like, I don't know, there's just something that was really like definitive about it. I think that really felt like BT3 was the game that most Dragon Ball fans wanted.
Yeah,
and so I mean.
And that was a 360 PS3 gen, right?
I think it was PS2 also.
Oh shit, so we skipped 2 console generations to get to here. So,
yes.
That's a while.
Yeah, because I remember I had it on the PS2. I didn't have a PS3.
Oh shit.
And maybe it was both. I have no idea. But the thing that I certainly liked was that every stage also had like a day and night cycle.
Oh,
like
cool.
every day, and like even in places like there's like literally a location hell where it didn't have a day and night cycle, but it had like I think it had like a neon type effect to it, to where it had like that new. It was just a way to freshen up an interesting stage, and they had all the colors and everything. It was really fun. So if I ever find that for cheaper than $100, maybe I'll purchase that game again. But it was a really fun game, and I hoped that this game gets just as much, if not more, love, given that game felt like such a definitive version for Dragon Ball games, and we haven't. There have been obviously other games to come out that have felt really good. I particularly like Kakarot style gameplay where you just free roam and finding Dragon Balls and all that. That's fun to me, but when it comes to like what this new game should be. I would just hope that it'd be like kind of like how Smash is always like a collection of everything in like gaming history.
Like a celebration.
Yeah, like I would hope that would be the same for this, where it's like a celebration of Dragon Ball history. So, because they also have like tournaments and like rewards and like training camps and stuff. It's just a lot of fun stuff. So I would hope that there's stuff like that would really flesh the game out more and not make it feel so like cheap.
See, I'm just wondering if it's going to have as many characters as Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope, Director's Cut.
I am surprised at how much they have milked that franchise.
So
you don't like this game? All right, fine. Let's gender swap everything. You don't like that? You don't like this game?
I love body swap mode so much.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying they've continuously milked it for so long that I'm just stunned.
Yeah, because Yacht Club hasn't. I mean, so they've done what? The base game of Shovel Knight, and then the 3 expansions with Plague Knight, King Knight, and Spectre Knight. Then they did Pocket Dungeon, which I don't care about because it's a puzzle game, and Dig, which I don't care about because it's a roguelike. Yeah. I think they co-developed Cyber Shadow, which I've been meaning to get around to for a while. And now they're working on Shovel Knight DX, which is going to have 20 playable characters.
Which is really weird to me because I'm like...
I think I know why. It's because I think we all forgot that at some point Shovel of Hope got like a fighting game add-on where there's like about 20 playable characters.
Okay.
So like you can play as like every knight, shield knight, enchantress. There's a couple like mook enemies, some of the like rival characters you find on the overworld map. So I think it's all of them. But the really interesting part about that to me is while it looks like that's all part of like the same campaign, so like they all go through the same levels, it's designed for co-op.
Really?
So it seems like you're intended to be able to beat the campaign if any 2 players pick any 2 characters, which is like, this is really interesting to me. That could potentially mean the level design is really bland because like, it looks like Plague Knight plays just like he did in Plague of Shadow, and you know those 3 expansions with those other knights.
Oh, sure.
They have completely different movesets, such that like not all of them could get through each other's stage. We'll have to see how that goes. We just got like a 3-minute trailer, but they're basically trying to include like every feature that every version of Shovel Knight's ever had. Like they're adding some like 3DS stuff and Wii U stuff in there too. We don't know what's coming out. Mina the Howler got another trailer for the first time in 2.5 years. It's basically Link's Awakening with Castlevania vibes, and he plays a mouse girl. Still no release date, because game developers fucking hate me.
We'll get into that later.
And they teased at the very end that they're developing a 3D Shovel Knight game, which... Okay.
You ready for Bubsy 3D Shovel Knight?
No. Why would you do that to me? No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like Crash Bandicoot or Banjo-Kazooie. Do not. It's already only gonna come out in like 2041.
You know what? I could actually see Shovel Knight as a Banjo, or not a Banjo. As a Crash Bandicoot type game. I could actually see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could attempt this. We don't even know if it's gonna be like. It probably will be retro styled. That's been their whole thing, because like Shovel Knight has an 8-bit aesthetic. Shovel Knight Dig has like a 16-bit like Genesis aesthetic.
They'll probably have like a 64 style gameplay. Or
if they want to be super base, they could go with Sega Saturn.
Okay, it's up to them. I'm sure they probably didn't stay super loyal. I'm sure there's colors and
like
Shovel Knight that didn't exist.
Yeah, the 8-bit version of Shovel Knight, like that has colors that the NES could not fucking display.
Exactly.
And the number of colors on screen, the ratio.
It's always fascinating to look at that color graph. Yeah. When you realize just how limited everything was, where you're just like, damn.
Yeah. So the Yacht Club Direct was basically 15 minutes of Shovel Knight and 5 minutes of the game that Drew will never get to play. It's Link's Awakening in Spooky Castle! With the mouse girl, with a whip. It's so bad.
speaking of
He needs it in his mouth.
indie
right now.
developers games, what else we got?
Sonic X Shadow Generations, because there's no other indie games to talk about.
Oh, okay.
But Sonic Team is less competent than indie devs, and yet they have more money. But none of their games look like they have as much money. I don't know where this joke is going. I'm
Figure
just
that one
venting
out,
my
scientists.
frustrations. You're crushing ice.
I am crushing ice right now, and it's gonna do wonders. But I bet this. You know what? This probably won't even come out in the audio.
We'll have
The bottle
to see.
sound. The bottle sound probably will.
He's gonna go deaf mid-editing.
Hold on, just so we don't.
So I'm doing that horrible thing for my health where I get excited over a Sonic game again because I did it for Frontiers and I did it for Superstars.
Here, the difference is though you're not smoking that copium alone right now. Because you and I both have various reasons to be excited for Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Doesn't that make it like an epidemic though?
It's only an epidemic if it reaches more than us. If Will gets excited over this, we have a
Will will
problem.
never care about Sonic.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I've
He'll be
taken-
the voice of reason.
Yeah, I've taken the antidote early on in my life.
Yeah, he's been
By just not
Knuckles
being involved with
Knuckles
Sonic at
red
all.
pilled.
Yeah.
So we're fine. At least we have him to frying pan us back to existence occasionally.
Yeah.
They are changing the Sonic Generations portion because they're going to be separate games. It's like 3D World and Bowser's Fury, where like you go to the title
Which
screen
I'm
and you pick one.
more than fine with.
Yeah, it doesn't really have to be integrated in the original game. Plus, they run on different engines.
It's just a way for them to make $60 on it while selling like half a game's worth of like
Yeah.
stages, and it's like, all right, well, if you're getting the old game with it and like all this other stuff is new, it's like I get it, but it's fine.
The one thing I hope they add to Generations is more music tracks because there's already 50, but we've had 15 years of new music to add, and we can add stuff from like Forces and Frontiers and Team Sonic Racing.
Do you think that they are at all going to add like a additional few stages?
I don't think they're going to add new stages. Unfortunately, that's kind of a shame because it'd be interesting if they try to do something from like Lost World or Forces or Frontiers or Mania. But I think they're just going to keep it at 9 to keep the game's original pacing intact. Plus, I feel like if you're going to add a whole lot of new content, it might as well just be for Shadow. Like, put it all in there. The only things we know they've changed about Generations is like the lighting looks a little different. The graphics look a little cleaner. The game already looked great anyway, especially for 2011. But they're adding like Chow to every stage. It's like another collectible.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be a different mission. It seems to be like they're in every stage all the time, like Red Star Rings. I think there's 3 per stage. They changed the intro animatic. It's like when everyone's at like Sonic's birthday party and they're like surprise.
Yeah.
You see like a bunch of like Chow like
Customized,
heavily
Chow,
edited
yeah.
ones. Yeah. Which is interesting.
That's cool. I like it.
And
They could make an easy like fucking like $2 million off a Chow game.
okay, so for the uninformed, there's been a rumor going on for a while from a very reliable Sega leaker that we will be getting a Chow Garden game, and it's exclusive to
Apple Arcade.
nope, Netflix.
What?
Did you know that Netflix has a games app?
What?
I didn't know until they ported Sonic Mania to Netflix a couple months ago. And I'm like, what does that even mean? But yeah,
Exclusive to Netflix.
like I'm okay with a Chow Garden game only being on mobile. That needs to be on everything. Android, Apple, my asshole, everything. Everything. No one's even heard of this Netflix. Yeah, let's port it to Amazon Luna, guys.
I didn't realize Apple Arcade was a thing.
Exactly. I didn't know Apple Arcade was a thing until fucking Sonic
until-
Dream Team.
Fuck, man.
5 years later, it's like, okay, where should we put the new game? I got it. Games off Windows Live.
Windows Live.
I got this TI-80 calculator. Do it.
Sonic
it.
Adventure 3 for the BlackBerry. Anyway, the one other thing we know they're changing is they're giving Classic and Modern Sonic both drop dashes. I don't know what Modern Sonic's going to do with the drop dash because he already has the boost. That might give him more like crazy air momentum shit that he can exploit.
You know what I miss actually from a lot of modern Sonic? I miss the bounce bracelet.
I do too. He only ever has the stomp. I wish he had the bounce.
Because like when he bounced and he had his momentum, he kind of kept a little bit of it, but it did slow him down a bit. But it's like, I'd rather sacrifice some momentum to be able to.
Yeah, and even then, they could just give him more horizontal momentum, you know? It wouldn't be, like, busted. But, yeah, they're both getting the drop dash and no one cares. Shadow Generations looks really good. I like how we all hate Shadow the Hedgehog, and we're all excited to see Black Doom, the alien father of Shadow the Hedgehog who wanted to blow up the planet.
I'm really excited to potentially see Mephiles.
So, okay, that's the thing that I really wanted to talk about on the show is when they started showing off footage of Kingdom Valley and Rail Canyon from 06 and Heroes, I was losing my mind, and I called Ryan for like 2 hours.
Yep.
I was freaking out on the corner of my neighborhood street like a true crackhead addict who can truly get no help. And there's a picture of... We don't have any gameplay from Summer Games Fest of this, but Shadow Generations has a 3D hub world. And it looks kind of like the White World hub from Generations, stylistically.
It's basically like a Sonic Frontiers Island where you go around going to different various stages.
Yeah. And the portion we've seen so far, it kind of looks like Kingdom Valley. I think it's meant to be like Kingdom Valley architecture, just like less in ruins. But off to the side, you see like a purple floor, and that could be nothing. It really could be. It could be generic, you can't go here. It could be Time Eater shit because he's also purple. But you thought it looked like the floor when you're fighting... Is it Mephiles Phase 2 specifically?
Boss Fight 2, Phase 2.
Okay. I think... The reason I'm trepidatious about this is because it's a little too specific.
The reason I think it the only reason I would be worried about this is because I'm worried it's going to be like a one-off boss fight.
Even that I'd be fine with that.
I would hope Mephiles has a bigger role in the story, but
of course, because the thing is that like 06 is canonically like it happened, but history was reversed at the end of the game.
Yep.
So it happened, but it didn't.
The thing with that is that in the white space, I can fully see like exactly what we're saying. It's like I can fully see like an area dedicated to like, hey, you're halfway through the stages. Fight a boss, and it's Mephiles.
Oh, like in the overworld. Oh.
No, not in the, like...
Okay.
You go to a place and initiate it, but, it triggers the memory and stuff like that. But, I don't know, I could totally see that, and then, you know, like, they may, like, compared to Sonic, which had, like, a couple bosses, this one would only have, like, 2, and one of them's Mephiles, the other's Black Doom, because those are arguably Shadow's, like, greatest foes.
Yeah. The thing is that they have a perfect excuse to bring back Mephiles because Generation Space Game already has an 06 stage, and for all the weenies who don't understand time travel and fiction, why did they bring back a stage that never happened? It did happen and it was reversed. It still happened. Mm-hmm. If we're pulling stuff from time, we're pulling stuff from space-time. Like,
yep.
I don't understand.
Happened.
Like, this doesn't break any rules that have been established because we've established no rules. So I don't understand why people have been complaining about that for 15 years, especially when Kingdom Valley shows up in the new trailer and everyone floods the rooms with cum. So, like, it's not even worth talking about. But
yeah, and Will's the first to go. He's in the smallest chair.
Sonic hurts my brain sometimes.
I really like the idea of Will drowning in cum. That's really funny.
I like how Will chose to be in the smallest chair.
I'm just here, you know.
Like, it just every so often I look over, I'm like, oh my gosh.
See, now he represents his canonical height.
Oh, come on.
The Oompa Loompas tower over him like the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, well, I can still uppercut you in your balls, fucker.
I wore a shield.
With your Milwaukee shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Milwaukee. I was at Jay and Rich. Mike was busy at the bar.
Oh my god!
It's MoonFriends! On this episode of Best of the Worst. Please actually stop. See, now
anyway.
Now I'm never going to listen to this.
Now I'm never going to hear you.
You're gonna hear me right now complain.
My man held that like a Spanish football announcer.
Wow, you held on to damn it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You held on to that AIDS longer than Magic Johnson.
What an immaculate linguist. Choke on your drink. I don't know if there's really anything. No, there is. This clearly is based off of. Well, I mean, we know it runs on the same engine as Frontier's Hedgehog Engine 2, but the way that Shadow looks like he controls, it looks different from Frontier's, but you can tell that, like, it started off that way, if that makes sense.
It looks like it was built on the bones of it.
Yeah, like, there's a certain, like, tightness to the way... Like, there's a section where Shadow's going through a tube, and, like, when he turns, it feels really tight, which is good. It's a good thing. Hopefully him turning corners on a flat plane is just as tight. I've heard reports that it is.
So, one thing that stuck out to me, because we watched the trailer for that recently, he seems to have a drift button.
They're finally bringing that back?
It looks
God,
like...
I hope so.
It looks like it, because I noticed, like, while he was, like, sliding down the skyscraper in that whole Black Doom altered world, he seemed to have, like, kind of a drift to it.
I think that's just for that section.
Might be, but it looked like it, so that's just what I'm saying. I have no proof of this, but that's just what I saw, and because the animation shifted like on and off when he was moving in certain directions, so who knows? It could just be the movement, it could just not be, but who knows?
The reason I think that is because the drift would function differently on the flat plane, and we've never seen a drift mechanic specifically for downhill. It's so weird to me that Frontiers didn't have a drift. Big open spaces, Sonic controls like a car, he's controlled like a car for 15 years, because that's the direction we want to push this character. No drift. In a big open field for 20 hours. Okay. Sure thing. I mean, he controls fine with just like the analog stick. You know, it's fine, but it's just weird.
Yeah.
But I was a little worried because Shadow has that like teleport homing attack, which is cool. The first footage I saw of people playing through that arc stage, it looked really slow. I was like, it's gonna be as slow as it was in Frontiers, and you're gonna hit an enemy and just and pause midair like an idiot. I've seen people who
Frontiers, you mean
Frontiers? Yeah, when Sonic homing attack, he's like, and I hate that in a game about fucking speedrunning.
He did that in 06 too.
Yeah, he's done it a couple times in certain games, but Frontiers to me is like the worst of it. When you see people like actually practicing the Summer Games Fest stages, like they've played through it a couple times, they're learning the routes, and they're mashing the button faster. Shadow does homing attack faster, so like it's a little slow, but it gives that cinematic impact without slowing the game down too much. What's funny? Piece of actual garbage.
Sorry. I'm just visualizing something. Sorry.
Mashing the A button on the PlayStation controller.
I just noticed that sitting in this chair, my chin goes approximately below the table, my head goes to about where my laptop is. So if someone were to come in right now and take like a group photo, and if I were to scoot closer to the chair, you'd probably just see my forehead stick out from above the table.
Like Sheldon.
Exactly.
You did not interrupt my dickless nerd shit just for that.
I'm sorry, okay?
He's not sorry. We are here to talk about dickless nerd shit, the most important conversation we could possibly have in this political climate.
If you want to talk about dickless shit, I have a...
No, I don't like that. What are you doing? I don't like that.
I say I can remedy that.
What is that?
Don't, hey, there's a cat here. Don't, bro.
Okay, I'll put it away.
Cat.
Kitty.
It's femur.
It's fuberous.
Your fuberous will claim the song.
I was leaving work and like everyone else that was leaving at the same time as me, they were huddled around the other side of like the entrance because they're all looking at a cat that I've seen. It's by like the west side of the building. And it just hides behind some like racking and stuff.
You mean garden?
Yes. I am talking about the garden department of our store that I did not really wish to specify specifically. Thank you, William Pomegranate.
William Penn.
Okay.
Thank you. Whatever. You don't even, they didn't even say. You didn't even say.
Let's move on to the Nintendo. It's fine. My dick's completely in my ass. Nintendo Direct. Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
It's not dead.
Surprisingly.
Brothership.
The last remake that sold about 2,000 copies was 2019. I don't know why they remade a DS game for the 3DS when every single model... Every single model of the 3DS can play DS games.
I must say, I still don't understand why they did that. A DS game for the 3DS.
See, before they remade a GBA game, and on the 3DS you couldn't even buy GBA on Virtual Console, that made sense.
Was this during the Dark Age?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And even on the first original title, before those remakes, Paper Jam, people did not like. That was like the epitome of everything about Mario was generic, where everything was just like grassy lands. Bowser kidnaps Peach. Bowser isn't funny. It's Koopas and Shy Guys and nothing else. Taking away the what made the RPGs unique. So this looks like a return to form. So the company that made Hi Paris.
There's electronics on the table.
Paris is on the table now. That's our cat.
Okay.
Hi, buddy.
I'm listening. Go on.
I'm trying to make this show good. I promised all four of you listening. I'm trying so fucking hard.
I saw a cat. I picked it up.
Okay, you're not going to complain to me every time. You're not gonna fucking complain to me every time you see me for the past 3 months that you don't get along with your cat when you pick it up at random times, put it in places you've never seen it before, and scream while it's in the room. You're not gonna complain to me, I don't understand what's wrong. And you're not gonna do this while we're recording. That's the loudest. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You want this now, Drew?
Oh my god.
He's got a grenade.
Yeah, I know he has a stupid app on his phone where he's an 11-year-old and he thinks it's funny. Yeah, I know.
I didn't think it would be that loud.
Fucking Christ!
So Shadow Exano Generation.
We're talking about.
Oh yeah, Nintendo.
I'm actually stressed out. I'm actually fucking sweating. Oh my god, I've seen red. Oh my god.
So, Waluigi's sister ship.
Sister ship. Switch sister ship.
Switch sisters.
Switch sister ship.
Switch sister ship.
Drew. He's been butt fucked in the ass. Anyways.
Feels great. The cactus needles add that, that extra little texture.
Well, when you get them on the desert dick, you're down to get some cactus needles in your ass.
You take the desert bus to the desert, and you sit in the desert dick.
Sometimes you gotta go to the Gobi Desert. Sometimes you gotta be a real man. You gotta get that dick right in your ass. Gotta make sure you get that cactus juice, boy. And you bring it home. You bend your cheeks forward.
Don't drink the cactus juice.
And you show the world that you are the best, the one and only cactus fucker out there.
Don't drink the cactus juice. It has toxic alkaloids.
Downward spiral, 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 downward spiral.
Oh, are you guys done?
Yeah.
Being actually 4 years old?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm giving you 30 seconds. No, don't make it. Don't make it louder.
What? Did you? Damn it! Stop exploding my life. Also, if you wanted to hear that, put it up to your mic.
No.
Drew, you have a funny face.
I'm gonna have a funny face while I'm sucking your dick in an alleyway.
Anyways,
So,
yeah.
here's what Drew's gonna say now.
Mm-hmm.
Will and Ryan are gonna pretend like we're at Grandma's house for Thanksgiving dinner.
My grandma's dead.
I didn't ask! Sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I just...
I look at Paris, and Paris just looks over like, fuck you guys.
This beloved dead Nintendo franchise gets resurrected after
What a
like
big,
6
lovable
years.
pussy. I don't know about you, Drew.
See, but what I don't understand is we just got past all the boring topics. We are just now getting to the good stuff.
Let me be happy.
I'm trying to make you happy.
I am happy.
You're not happy in the way that I need you to.
That's the way I need you.
We're not 40 minutes in. Oh my god, this is the worst show we've ever done. And none of it is my fault at all, as usual. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
I need some fucking mustard gas.
There's mustard in the fridge. You can inhale it and start trying.
I know how to make it.
Why?
It's easy.
Why would you know?
It's easy. It's just you take ammonia and bleach. That's it.
Okay. Well, anyways. Drew, are your nipples sanctified?
Please, I can't laugh anymore. My HP's at level 0.
I sure fucking hope so.
So, Brothership. It looks neat. So, are we confirming that was the boat thing Pioro was talking
I think
about?
so.
Because I remember
Apparently, that's not the case. Apparently, he decided to leak something that was only in the Japanese Direct.
Oh.
What?
I don't know either. I
didn't even know that the Japanese directs were different.
Yeah, they do sometimes have like Japan only
Okay,
releases.
I don't know.
It's been like that for a long time, but he's never leaked something Japan only.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's bound to happen.
The hint was in English too. I don't know. I think he might be losing this game. I don't know.
Maybe he thought it was coming to whatever. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. So we don't. Nintendo's done this thing past couple. I can't believe things are actually back to normal. Jesus fucking
See,
Christ.
now you've called attention to it.
Don't ruin it.
You're right. Okay. Yep. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay on
All right.
topic.
Yes. Nintendo's done this thing a couple of times. I think starting with like Princess Peach Showtime specifically, where like they just wouldn't tell us which studio is developing which game for no reason, and like people theorize that it's because like maybe like some people don't like certain studios, so like the instant they are announced to work on a game, those studios get backlash,
Yeah.
and Nintendo wants to avoid like
Bad publicity for them.
yeah, which is the only thing I can think of. But even then, like that's just kind of weird because it's not like that's done for every game.
It's kind of like pussyfooting.
I don't know, but
even if a company with a bad reputation makes a game, like then that elevates it if it's a good game.
yeah. So like Princess Peach Showtime, right? As an example, so we found out like the day before it came out, it was made by Good Feel.
Okay.
They've made like their last major releases were like Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Crafted World, and like like the level design and like the graphics, it kind of looks like Good Feel in retrospect. Good Feel, like okay, Crafted World, some people thought was like okay. Other than that, they have a perfectly fine track record. So like that's why I don't think that theory holds up. Because like who cares? Like yeah, Crafted World and Peach Showtime don't look particularly great, but they're not a bad studio. But
maybe they just figured it was a sign of like the care that was going into the game, where it's like not in-house developed. Maybe.
Yeah, because Good Feel is not in Nintendo. Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of a thing where they're just like, hey, they didn't want to say don't expect much from this, but they just wanted to be like, hey, new Princess Peach
You know what?
game.
Maybe that does actually tie into things, because maybe they'll only say this stuff for studios that are in-house. Maybe.
That's I'm thinking that might be it, because, Pokemon Company obviously has their own thing, but
yeah, but they're Pokemon.
Yeah, they're Pokemon, but I can see a lot of smaller dev teams not getting acknowledgement like that from Nintendo if they're not actively in Nintendo. Because if they're not actively meeting Nintendo standards or something, where they're just because if the game comes out and it's poor quality, Nintendo can distance themselves from it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's also a retrospective thing where they're just hey,
so even
we're relying on you to make this game, but if you don't make it, don't expect a call.
So even if it's a Nintendo IP like Yoshi or Mario, they can be they will never say, but fans will go to. It's their okay. That's interesting. All this to say, we still don't know who's developing Mario and Luigi Brothership because Alpha Dream's been gone since 2019. News just came out this morning. At least I saw an article on Nintendo Life this morning that someone was asking Nintendo on social media who's making it. And while Nintendo still didn't confirm what studio it is, they've confirmed what we already kind of thought. That at least some team members from previous Mario and Luigi games are working on this. And I think I don't know, you look at the overall design, you look at the combat, you look at the character designs, it's we kind of already figured.
Yeah.
This would be, you could maybe replicate this with, some people who closely studied the style, but, all together, it's just, it feels like it's from Alpha Dream.
It makes sense. It's not something that you think of where you're just no, that can't be. It's no, it's okay, I can believe that they took assets from whatever and just kind of ported it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But Alpha Dream employees have kind of gone, everywhere. Some are at Intelligent Studios. Some are at Nintendo's core development studios for shit like Splatoon and Mario and Animal Crossing. Some are at Toei and Bandai Namco. They've kind of just gone all over the place to other Japanese studios. But I guess really it's not super important when from the 2-minute trailer we have it looks what if they made a new HD console Mario and Luigi? It's got that charm with the wacky original characters that still fit Mario style. The game doesn't look like a graphical powerhouse, but it looks clean.
Yeah,
it looks
very
fun.
clean.
While again, still being distinct from other Mario stuff. It doesn't look like Mario Golf or Mario Wonder. It's its own thing, which is what people always liked Mario and Luigi for. It was distinct, but it was always Mario, even if it did a lot of original stuff. It's fucking crazy to me. It's got to be intentional. It's 100% intentional that this game, if I remember right, this game is coming out on the 1-year anniversary of when the Mario RPG remake released. So all in 1 year span, we got Mario RPG remake of everyone's favorite Paper Mario that doesn't suck ass, and the return of a dead Mario RPG franchise. It's an RPG renaissance. And as someone who loves turn-based RPGs specifically and is getting more into Mario as of late, I'm shitting gold. This is just great.
I don't hate turnstile RPGs. I think it's just that I'm not. They have to bring something unique to the table.
Yeah, well,
I'm just sick of the Pokemon format. That's it. I think that's really the problem.
That's why, I played through Thousand Year Door all the way through the remake. Really good.
I would love to play it sometime.
Now I want to try Bug Fables because you told me that's good.
Love that game, man. It is absolutely Thousand Year Door, but made by an indie developer.
Yeah, I'm curious to see which we end up liking more. Now that each of us has to play the other.
Did you buy a physical copy or did you buy a digital?
Oh, I bought a physical copy. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Because I know that they were canceling pre-orders and stuff.
Okay, so that's
which I don't understand.
That's another piece of news. That also happened with Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yes, I heard about that.
It seems to only be Amazon and Walmart.
Okay, so they're not doing it at GameStop, because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, it's not GameStop, Best Buy, Nintendo's own store. They're not doing it. It seems to just be, if the reports are accurate, Walmart and Amazon.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's because they're not getting enough copies to fulfill the orders. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, I probably, but I also think that typically those stores, they're juggernaut stores, and they'll charge whatever they want for it. If they're not charging a price or they're not getting a certain premium that Nintendo wants out of it, then they're going to be like, all right, well, we're not going to give you as many.
Yeah, because it's clearly like Nintendo wouldn't go out of their way to do this.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I didn't think about that.
That was interesting.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I was super confused on it for a while, but what was the next thing in the direct?
So I didn't write down every game because we're not talking about Funko Fucko or Fantasian, which like we know nothing about. The next one is Nintendo World Championships NES. Yep, it's NES Remix, but less.
I just don't get it. Why would they do that when they have NSO? Like,
because it's an easy, quick game to make.
But how much do they charge for those games?
What do you mean?
How much do they charge for like that type of game?
I think that one is, if you're not getting the deluxe version, I think it's $30, which like that's like 20, 30.
I guess.
But
I would go 20, but
it's harder to argue for that price when again, like NES Remix games had more games to pull from 10 fucking years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. That just seemed weird to me, but
maybe if they make an SNES remix.
Have you ever played any NES or SNES games? I'm talking to Will specifically.
Not really.
You are not playing with the grenade.
Yeah, I am.
He's playing with the grenade.
Would you ever be interested in like trying that type of thing?
I would, yeah.
Because they're not bad games depending on what your flavor of game is.
I played, what was
He would be a huge fan of Balloon Fight. He's actually the main character from Balloon Fight. He's about as tall.
Right now.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that on the, no, please, no. No, we're not playing more loud sounds on the fucking podcast.
I have it muted.
But,
I played a bit of, excuse me. Is it Super Mario World?
The one with
Yoshi?
Yes.
Yes.
What was that on? What system?
SNES.
I played a bit of that. I mean, it was on the Switch, but
Yeah,
it's still a SNES game. So.
That's weird too because I did play a bit of that too. I couldn't get into it.
I played all the way through World. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I played it on Wii U Virtual Console way back.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to keep me
the art
engaged.
style of it.
Oh yeah, the art style of it is really good. But like, I found myself playing 3 a lot more. Mario 3.
I tried Mario 3 a couple months ago, and I didn't do everything I wanted to do because there's like a secret path you can take in the first level. So I beat the first level, and Mario on the overworld goes to level 2. I tried backtracking and I couldn't. And I was like, this is the game that everyone's been jerking off for 35 years. And I turned off the game and I played Mario Kart.
You could have just rewound.
8, not Super Mario Kart because that game sucks ass. Yep, I mean Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
I mean, I certainly like it. It's just like...
Listen, if like the GBA version lets me backtrack or something, or like the All-Stars version, then we'll talk.
Well, backtracking between worlds wasn't a thing.
No, but in the NES version I was playing, you couldn't even go back to the previous level in the same world. There was just no way to do it without
what version were you
now on NSO. Now you can rewind in NSO. I'm an asshole, and I'm like, you should be able to backtrack based on principle, because every platformer for the last 25 years lets you do that. You know what I mean?
I thought you could though.
Nope. Again, you can rewind with like NSO and Virtual Console, but like in the game, you can't.
I don't remember.
So, worst game ever made. Let's talk about Hey Pikmin for the 3DS. It's getting a Switch port, as they showed off in the Direct.
Did they? I missed that.
So, Nintendo Switch Sports, I claimed during our reaction that like the last time they updated this game was in 2022 for golf. And then I was thinking about it the past couple days, and I'm like, that has to be wrong. So I double-checked it today, and I was completely right. And, like, I understand that game came out to mixed reception, but, like, so is every Mario sports game for the last 15 years, and those get constant updates.
Remember Mario Strikers?
Yeah, we're not talking about Mario Strikers. Anyway, it's just crazy to me, because Nintendo Switch Sports, and I double-checked this, too, because I told you in there, that game sold 13 million copies, and I'm like, wait, well, okay, maybe it was only, like, 4 million. It was 13 million. Within, like, half a year or so, that game sold 13 million copies, and they've given it 2 new sports. That game came out in, I think, 2022. What the fuck are they doing? Like, at least try to improve the product, you know? It's so weird. The game's been dead for a year and a half, and then, oh, basketball!
It's so weird, too, because I don't understand it. I've never really been into, like, sports games like that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get into sports compilations like that when they're kind of light, but even then, like...
Well, even then, I prefer something like Clubhouse games where it's like...
Yeah, that's the thing is I wish we'd get another game like Wii Sports Resort or like Wii Play Plus where there's like 20 or 30 games.
Yeah, something that with a bit more variety.
Yeah, Wii Sports I had fun with because of the novelty, but then the next couple games they did, they added more games. Or like one had like the Hub World and like Wii Sports Resort, right? And then this game comes out, and it's like a tiny little hub world and 5 games on launch. It's like, I'm not fucking paying $50 for this.
Yeah.
I remember when they announced the trailer for that, and part of my soul left me.
Okay, I did want to talk about this for 5 seconds. I don't understand why people are like, I need the Mii's back. Like, I get their charm.
It's part of it. It's because it's a part of the whole thing. It's like the console sports. It goes back to Wii Sports. It's not a proper sports game without the Mii's.
I think the thing that a lot of people have with it is...
what use does your Mii get in Switch?
It's...
a handful of games. Miitopia, Smash, Mario Kart.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I know they have it in an update now where you can switch it over, but... I don't know, for me personally, Wii Sports could never be topped. Unless you talk about Wii Sports Resort. But like those 2 games, those are like the pinnacle.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, they add an update where they're like, fine, stop complaining, you dickless nerds. There's Mii's in 2. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I like the new avatars and the old ones. It's like best of both worlds. It's just, to me, and this isn't necessarily a problem with Mii's themselves, but like, over the years, they've only added like a few new features. So like, I wish they were more expressive. Like, there's only so much you can do, and it's not much compared to when they first came out in like 2006. I wish they took Mii's and expanded on them. That's why I like to look at the new avatars. I get that some people think they look sterile. I completely understand, but like, just their eyes, like even the most basic ones they showed off in the trailer, like their eyes were a lot more expressive. So that's why I didn't mind.
Yeah.
The thing for me is that, like, on Xbox 360 you have the avatars, and they're not much better, but like...
Yeah, they're really not.
But like, they do have, like, bodies that seem proportionally accurate to whatever game. But they have their own, like, bodies that are proportionally accurate to the games that they're in. Like,
dude, I coughed and you restarted that sentence. I thought I rewinded time. Marty, you have to cough again.
where you gotta keep coughing.
No, Marty, not Rick.
No, that's what I thought.
I mean, Doc Brown. That's
Yes.
him.
Yes.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Okay,
You
but
uncultured swine.
my point was that I just don't find the charm in any Mii. I've never.
You heartless bastard.
I wasn't
Thank
that
you.
into them from the beginning. Like, they were okay. But,
They just
I
seem
like
too
them.
plain.
I like them.
They're egg boys.
Yeah, that's...
you would like them the most. You're the most plain out of all of us.
I know.
You're the least smegma-pilled.
They relate to me. What does schmegma mean? I've heard that so much. What does it mean?
We're not explaining it here.
What does it mean?
We're not telling
What
you.
does it mean?
It's
I
your-
demand to know.
It's your foreskin boogers.
That's exactly what they are.
Really?
Yeah.
It's when you don't clean under your foreskin and there's like a buildup of just like, it's like white, chewy, sticky
Okay,
gunk.
can you rewind time?
You ass bitch.
I didn't know it'd be that gross.
That's why I told you to fucking drop it and you wouldn't. That's on you, 100%.
Can we talk about the Lego game?
We are fast approaching the 1 hour mark. MoonFriends Talking Space is brought to you by Blue Apron.
MoonFriends is brought to you by a live studio audience.
I thought you were going to say slaves.
No. No.
MoonFriends does not endorse slavery.
Speaking of excessive amounts of steam in Hello Kitty Island.
Oh gosh.
Kuromi, my wife, she's in.
I don't know why you were so excited for this game.
It's Animal Crossing, but Hello Kitty.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Hello Kitty's cute, and this is like New Horizons.
So pretty. Yeah. Go. Talk. Fuck.
When did she?
Go.
When did she come out? The 70s.
What?
Because sometimes you interrupt me and then you immediately say, "No, just keep going."
Yes.
Like now I'm unsure that you're not going to interrupt me again. So that's why
I wasn't going to interrupt you. I was just telling you, just keep talking.
Just the beautiful sound of a siren song, just like from the distance.
I'll chuck another bottle.
Please don't, because that would physically hurt me.
Not at you, just at the ground.
Yeah, please don't, because I don't want.
Talk.
The 1 hour mark! Yay! Hello Kitty Island Adventure. That's actually another Apple Arcade game. That was an Apple Arcade exclusive.
For God's sake.
Yep, and I think Fantation was also Apple Arcade.
You said there was.
So we're just gonna keep getting Apple Arcade games on Switch, and never Sonic Dream Team. That's never coming to Nintendo or PC or PlayStation or Xbox. Yep. They really know what they're doing over there. No, this just looks like New Horizons, but like there's a little bit of like a story mode where like you explore stuff. It looks like there's mini games.
More cutesy looking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is kind of what New Horizons was missing.
It's got Pom Pom Puritan in it, which is cute.
I don't know who that is.
He's the yellow dog with the little face. He's got the little smile. He's very cute.
I know Kitty, Kuromi, Cinnamoroll.
I don't know any of these characters.
Cinnamoroll, yeah. It's all Sanrio characters.
Yeah, which is why Retsuko's in.
Wait, is she actually in there?
Yeah, there's a couple scenes where Retsuko shows up on like a roller coaster.
I did not see that.
Bro, we gotta get Haida in there too.
Can we get a Gretzko version?
Yeah, a Gretzko DLC.
No, that'd be too scary for the 4-year-olds who are gonna play this game like me.
She can still go like this though. It's like an emote, like the dude, like the rock symbol.
I was gonna say no one can see that.
I know. I pulled a U.
So this next game is the first of 2 times in the Direct that Nintendo has mistitled a game, which is really weird. Usually they don't put typos in.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yes.
This is a Wii game that was previously ported to 3DS. Is now getting ported for a second time. So why isn't this Donkey Kong Country Returns? What a fucking hack!
Returns cubed.
Returns cubed. There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's Returns.
It's definitely a Wii game in HD. I don't know,
but it's Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong's always been fun.
It's something Donkey Kong.
DK.
Just a port some studio in fucking Ireland can work on for 9 months, so it can come out in the best month of the year for all games, January.
I thought you were gonna say February.
Nope, It's coming out January 16th.
Okay.
But yeah, like all the DKC games are good. All 5 of them. Just keep porting the same shit. Friendly reminder that the last new game was Tropical Freeze in 2014. And since then, we got Donkey Kong Country Returns on 3DS. And then Tropical Freeze on Switch. And then this game on Switch. It's just been the last 2 games.
I thought there was something else. I forgot.
You have the SNES games. But that's it.
I guess there's that, but
no, even like old like Donkey Kong spin-offs, like they stopped with the Wii. You had like that weird like barrel racing. Was it Barrel Blast?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Jungle Beat was on GameCube
with the DK.
You had some DK Konga games, the rhythm games with the bongos on GameCube, and spin-offs just stopped forever. I get why they haven't done a new DKC. It's because Retro has handled the last 2, and they were busy with other stuff before, and now they've been working on Prime 4. But like that they haven't just thrown like a $20 like Donkey Kong mini game like developed in house or something. Like that's weird. Really weird. I feel like that brand's just been dormant, which is a shame because like Donkey Kong's cool.
There it is. Okay, yeah.
It's Mario platforming but more interesting. And harder.
That's the game that repels virginity. Got it.
What is it?
Barrel Blast.
Oh, he's parroting a Scott the Woz joke. Oh man. Okay.
The best way to get laid.
Scott the Woz.
It's the best way to get laid. I tried it. It worked.
Bro, Zhao is just really putting the down in this.
You know, getting laid bumps up your credit score.
You know, getting creative bumps up your laid score.
Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake.
So there was 2 different release dates, right?
Yes, the first one they're doing is 3, and then they're doing 1 and 2. It's because 3 is a prequel.
Okay, that's fine. Because I was confused by that for a while.
Yeah, so 3's coming out this year, and then 1 and 2 are coming out next year. And, you know, we were talking, because, like, I said I've never liked the look of HD 2D games, and then as the trailer was going on, I'm like, this looks pretty good. And I've heard some second opinions from people who have played the other HD 2D games from, like, you know, Final Fantasy VI Remake and, like, the Octopath games. And people are saying that, like, the first couple times they tried this, it didn't look that good. And this is the best the HD 2Ds looked. Where, like, they're touching specifically on, like, what looks realistic, what looks pixelated, how detailed are the pixel graphics, how good's the lighting. I haven't been sold on it before with, like, Live Alive or Octopath. This, like, I don't know, this looks good. I just prefer, like, just make it 3D, but this looks really good.
Fair enough.
I got into Dragon Quest XI when the special edition on Switch came out. Very good game. And then shortly after that, I think, or shortly before that, they announced Dragon Quest XII is in development. And we've seen fucking nothing. And it's been like 5 years. So
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But
Maybe certain artists are working on the Sparking Zero game.
is that Square? That's not Square. That's got to be Bandai
I said
Namco.
artists. Because isn't it the same, like, art style type thing, or...
I mean, like, Akira Toriyama did art for Dragon Quest back in the day, but, like, I don't know that he has, like, a special team for that goes to different studios.
True, especially after he passed.
Yeah. Funko Fusion.
Twice now. We can move on.
What was it? They named, like, fight a character from Battlestar Galactica.
Because it's just like, do anything, the game.
But they clearly can't get the licenses to every brand, so it's like, okay, what's all the big stuff we can get? Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, we can't do Marvel. We can't do Pokemon. We can't do, like, okay.
Is DC? No. Well,
Yeah, so, Battlestar Galactica, yeah.
We can get the PlayStation stuff. PlayStation stuff? Cool.
Yep. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Why was this announced during the summer? And why is it coming out in the summer? And why for a port where I don't think they're adding anything? Why have we known about this game for 1 whole year? They showed this in last year's Summer Direct.
Yep.
This could have been, like, announced in this Direct and be like, okay.
I have no idea. It's like the least exciting.
It's like the least exciting port. I know a lot of people are like, ports are boring. Ports are necessary, especially for, like, late in a system's development, but, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's Luigi's Mansion 2. It's fine out of 10.
Exactly, it's like, it's nothing
And the port
special.
is fine out of 10. Luigi no longer has 98 polygons, now he has 142. It is an improvement.
Moving on.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is coming to Switch with rollback net. All of those games have rollback netcode online.
What does that mean?
You know how Smash Online sucks?
Yes.
You know how every other fighting game worth its salt has better online?
Yes.
That's what rollback netcode is.
Oh.
Every smart fighting game has been using that for the past 5 or 10 years. And Smash refuses to. Even though it's made by Bandai Namco, who has plenty of experience with fighting games, I don't understand it. It makes me mad every fucking time.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry.
It's really just Marvel vs. Capcom 2
It's okay.
and a bunch of those other games. Everyone cares about MVC 2.
Drew, when you announced it, okay, as soon as you mentioned the Funko game, my brain just kind of automatically turned off. But when you mentioned the Marvel thing, it jolt me awake, so thank you.
Again, they're also adding training modes to every game, which is fucking crazy. They're going above and beyond for this stuff, man. And they have, like, the art gallery you can look at.
Didn't they say it's not coming out till next year or something?
We don't have a release date yet.
Yeah, they didn't. I remember.
Pains my soul.
I know that they didn't give a release date. This was the game in that direct that a lot of people got excited over.
And thankfully, I was really worried about this. It's not a Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah.
It's coming to everything, as it should.
Yes.
They just got announced here. But we had to wait like a day and a half to find out that it's coming to other consoles. It's like, don't do that. I don't know. This just looks good, man.
It does. It looks really clean, and
I got hooked on MVC2 at my local barcade. I've been there twice, and each time I played MVC2 for like half an hour. I've got my ass kicked by the CPU, and it's so much fun.
we should play it on the show one day when it comes out.
It's got like 40 fucking characters in it. It's fucking huge for a game in like, I don't know, I think that was the early 2000s, late 90s.
Probably.
It's got a lot of characters, and like they all have assists too. Man.
Well, not only that, but it's a lot of the like the sub games in the genre as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot going on there.
It does look cool.
Just great job from Capcom, man. Do we have anything to say about Super Mario Party Jamboree?
The only thing I will say is that I was excited during the direct when I saw it, because a lot of the problems I have with Mario Party is that if everything doesn't look the same as it always has since the beginning, it's usually very boring gameplay-wise. And what I mean by that is, when you're on the board, I mean, they've done the gimmick with, like, the cars and shit.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that shit. And, I prefer, like, you know, boards and stuff like that. But, like, I like that they're incorporating a lot of, like, they had, like, people in, like, Mario Karts and shit like that, where I'm like, hey, you know what, add a little flair, add
they go, like,
something to it.
Yeah.
And it just seemed really a lot more fun, and like they had like a mall stage that had like levels to it, and I was like,
It's Coconut Mall, basically.
yeah, and I was just like, you know what, that's all it needs to freshen things up, is like try and make things just a little bit more of it. That's why I didn't really feel anything when like I bought and then later sold Super Mario Party.
Yeah.
I didn't get Mario Party Superstars. And it was just like, this is the third one that's come out for Switch.
I'm actually interested in trying all three, because as someone who's only played Super Mario Party once with you, I had a lot of fun. And I this is going to sound stupid as fuck, but I'm a dickless nerd. I wouldn't mind getting those games and just like playing them single player, just to experience the game for the first time, play against like hard mode CPU, practice all the mini games. It's just my thing with the recent direction of the series. One minor thing, when they bring back older maps, it's just from the N64 games. It's like, the time is now to do GameCube nostalgia, and from what I hear, all four GameCube Mario parties, from 4 through 7, were received really well, and they have a lot of cool maps. Let's stop just doing N64, which are still good.
One of the biggest things one of the things that got me into Mario Party was Mario Party 4.
Yeah.
And, like, I stupidly sold that game when I didn't have a job, and, like, that game was really fun in terms of, like, not only the stages, but, like, just the energy it kind of gave you, where it's just like, oh, man, like, it doesn't feel as, like, trivial.
Yeah.
Like, it's more like, just have fun, man. Just play.
My bigger complaint. Oh yeah, real quick. This is the first game where they have new and old stages. It's 5 new ones and 2 old ones, which is really interesting, because other games have just been only old maps or only new. So I think that's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind if this became like the new standard, if they wanted to do it like that, where it's just mostly new stages. Anyway. The thing is, you know, Hudson Soft was the company that worked on Mario Parties 1 through 8, I think. And then Hudson Soft has been 9, 10 superstars in this. And, did I say Hudson Soft again? I meant ND Cube, sorry.
Isn't Hudson Soft gone?
Yes, and some people who were part of Hudson Soft are part of ND Cube now. But a lot of it's new team members as well. And my thing with the recent Mario Parties, as someone who's never been into Mario Party and wants to get into it, is, without knowing how this compares to the Hudson Soft games, ND Cube seems to like adding modes to Mario Party that are completely fucking useless.
There was a dance mode in Super Mario Party, and it was like so pointless because the only reason people played it was to play the mini games.
Yeah.
And it was like, because it was a quick way to just get to the mini games, and it's like,
which I wouldn't mind.
but the problem is like,
I'd rather just select the mini games from a menu, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, why go through all that complicated crap?
Yeah, because if I want to go through a mode to have to play the mini games, not right away, I'll play the main mode.
It's like saying, hey, the only way to play this specific WarioWare mini game is to go to the course and hope to get it.
Yeah, it's weird.
No, WarioWare just lets you choose.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to do it on what difficulty? Okay, go.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it just baffles me.
They keep seeming to want to add a lot of useless modes, and I saw a lot of people get excited over 20-player online, which, like, okay, I think that could work if players are eliminated quickly. Like, if it's in elimination mode and not like there are 20 people from start to end, because I think that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
They've added online to the last two Mario parties where, like, if it's 2 to 4 people, they go through the whole game and you can save and quit and pick up from where you left off. That works for 4 players. 20, I think that's like a battle royale.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah. I think that's an elimination mode kind of thing, which is really cool. That adds definitely a lot of spice. I think for especially as like funnily frustrating as Mario Party gets, that's a really cool idea.
And just for the record, I would not be opposed to playing Superstars or anything, but go on.
How good is the online going to be? Because, like, some Mario... Well, I mean, I guess my 2 examples are Mario. Some Nintendo games, like, say, Mario Kart 8, have, like, flawless online. And then some, like, Mario Maker 2 are horrible. And Smash is, like, it's a coin toss half the time. You just know that when you get in a match of 20 people, one of you motherfuckers is going to have, like... Nebraska Mountain Wendy's Wi-Fi, like 2G with 1 bar, and the whole thing's gonna be 5 FPS. Really excited to play a frantic Mario Party minigame marathon at 5 FPS. Thank you for $60.
You know what you can fix bad Wi-Fi connection with? Dr. Snake's Liquid Wi-Fi, available to all pharmacies near you.
Dr. Snake, is that Solid Snake in a lab coat?
Yeah.
Nice.
I would love it if my doctor were voiced by David Hayter. That'd be so hot. It's time for your colonoscopy. No, next part of the show.
Hold on.
Wait, no. Echoes of Wisdom. We're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and you're going to be mad at me.
Why?
How about you start? Because the incorrect opinions should go first.
I just grabbed a glass mug filled with liquid. I don't need a reason to chuck it.
Why don't you just drink your drinks?
Because if you're going to call my opinion the incorrect opinion, I have reason to
I'm joking.
Violent.
I'm joking.
And I'll be joking, too.
No, you won't be. When you throw something that's for real.
But for me at least, I'm not a gigantic fan of the style of gameplay, the Link's Awakening kind of style. But I'm just so glad to finally have Zelda as her own adventure.
So, I want to get into the top-down Zeldas. And it's interesting that this is the first top-down original that we've had since, like, Triforce Heroes? Last one people liked was Link Between Worlds a couple years earlier. So, 2013?
Yeah.
2014, I think?
2013, Link Between Worlds came out.
I was not a fan of the Link's Awakening graphical style, and I remember that anyone who had not a 10 out of 10 opinion on that graphical style was immediately bombarded with, well, they're justifying the toy-like graphical design because Link's Awakening is all a dream. Okay, and now we get to this game, and it's not a dream, and it's like, now we have even less of an excuse for, I understand a lot of the reasons a big reason that games on the Switch in particular have a specific art style like this is because it's an underpowered system, and even operating at like 1080p, a lot of games just aren't going to look great when they go for more realistic style. That's fine. I don't want my trees to be shiny and my clothes to look like plastic.
Yes.
Like, I don't need everything to change. I just want some things to change, and it looks
just want things
cheap.
You just want things to feel a bit more real.
Yeah.
And I understand that. That is one of the biggest problems I had with Link's Awakening and this whole remake, is that like I'm not a big fan of the toy aesthetic.
Yeah.
Especially when it doesn't fit, in my opinion, like in like a medieval setting.
I don't even know if I want to say it needs to look more real, but it needs to look less fake. Does that make sense?
It needs to look
like why the glossy plastic look specifically?
I could see that for if they ever made like a Legend of Zelda Lego game. Like I think you were talking about that one day.
He just got an erection.
But I remember he was telling me about that one. He was like,
"Wait,
what would you do if they made like a Legend of?" Please.
Sorry about that.
The table.
Well, we're gonna be talking about that game next.
Whoa.
Don't take your nap yet.
Okay.
I'll get your apple juice after we talk about it.
Okay, Daddy. Okay, Daddy.
Apple juice. But
Apple's a pretty good band.
I want my apple juice.
But I 100% get that, and I'm for it. I don't want. See, the thing is, I'm fine with the style.
Yeah.
I'm not super enthralled by it. I would much prefer a Breath of the Wild style game, or like a little bit under that.
Yeah.
Like something like Wind Waker.
Yeah, that game, like, they're cel-shaded, but they don't look like toys. They just look fantastical. It looks cartoony. That's fine.
I'm fine with, and I think this is just a thing that Zelda typically does, whether I like it or not. With Ocarina, they were working with what they had. With Wind Waker, it was a stylistic choice. With Twilight Princess, they were obviously going for a more harder style.
Yeah, like more.
They were trying to fit with like they were trying to fit in with all the games of the time, which were Halo, Metal Gear, and
like
Gears of War.
Twilight Princess specifically reminds me of like Eco and Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes,
a lot of like browns and blacks. Yeah,
yes, that's what they were going for, and I'm not, and that's why I like that game, because I think that fits more in a Zelda style.
Yeah, or at least that specific one. Yeah,
because it's a lot more like, it's not castle-y. Rather it is. And that's what I like about it. It speaks to the medieval era that Zelda is always in.
Yeah, and if you want to do more fantastical, I think actually maybe my favorite art style in a Zelda game that I've seen is Skyward Sword. I feel like it took a lot of the cues of like the cel-shaded and colorful look of Wind Waker, but everything it looks more like a painting. Like there's these nice warm, vibrant colors. The shadow work and like the lighting looks really cool. Some of the character designs I'm not big on, but
I don't like
the art style as a whole. Like I'm into it.
What I like about Breath of the Wild is that it has a French painting aesthetic, which I think looks really nice. The thing with this game is that it's reusing an art style which already had controversy behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't buy into the whole like, oh well, it was a dream, so many. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
That doesn't fucking matter. What matters is they wanted to reuse assets. I get that. Yeah. I don't like it, but I get it. But I think what they could have done was they could have lowered the polish on some of these things so they don't look like plastic. They could have improved it to where it would have been more believable. And like, I'm not a big. We played BDSP. I don't like reused tree assets. I like when things look different.
Yeah.
I don't. But I think this is the only game I would ever give that pass to, like a Zelda game, because especially with all the things going for it that are new. Because the way I see this game is there's so much new that's going to be happening to where they're going to play with the environment. Like, I've already seen things where they stack certain things up and they're walking on the trees.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's going to be an integral part of the game too, where you like have to walk along a path or something, like do something like that. I'll give a pass to this because I'm like, okay, I don't want to judge it until it comes out. And even when it comes out, I don't want to think of it like, okay, here is just the critical thinking in my head. It's like, okay, I want to see what this game has to offer.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, I'll give it a slide. The echo mechanic, I think I've figured it out.
What do you mean?
Its limitations. So that little character, the accompaniment character,
Yeah.
he has like 3 pieces with him.
Yeah, the Triforce.
Yeah. Each, for a table, it has 1. For an enemy, it has 3. So until that enemy is gone, you can't echo anything else.
Okay, like they take up a certain number, 1,
Yes.
2, or 3. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm assuming. So you can't just keep using it for stuff, because there's going to be a limitation on it.
Okay.
That's my assumption, and maybe you get more as the game goes on, who knows? But that's just what I'm kind of gathering.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm fine for like certain limitations if they're going to break the gameplay in half, then I don't want that. But
I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I think you'll have some cool exploits people will discover within a couple weeks.
yeah, and it should be fine. It's just that like I can't judge this game too hard because it does a lot of new things pretty well. Where I'm like, okay, good, Zelda is a playable character. Good, she doesn't just wield a sword like Link. Good, she has her own unique gameplay style. I'm excited for this, and I want to see where they go with that, because this also gets me excited for things like Smash, where I'm like, okay, next Smash game, what a great place to start, where she could like echo something or do something like that, and I'm just thinking like, cool, I'm into that.
Yeah. Is it time for me to be wrong now?
It's time for you to step on dreams.
So at first this game looked intriguing, and then I was listening to like the reason why this game is the way it is, like why they're giving Zelda this specific moveset over like anything else originally could do, and it's to encourage the idea of solving any puzzle or any problem in any way the player wants. I'm like, okay, so I infamously am not that I don't like that about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but like I don't want it to be the way that Zelda handles puzzles and like dungeons like forever. And I don't necessarily think it will be. Let's make that clear. I'm not like going to full panic mode about it, but like people like top-down Zeldas because they're the more traditional kind. You know, besides like the older 3D ones, like Link Between Worlds and Minish Cap and the Oracle games, they've always been like the traditional Zelda stuff. And like, again, I'm not saying that's going away forever too. Obviously not. Why would it? But it's been a long time since we've had like an original top-down Zelda, and we wanted to see where they could go next, right? Since Link Between Worlds, excuse me, in 2013. And now we're getting sandbox design. And I wouldn't even be super opposed to it, because to an extent I do enjoy that in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but especially in Tears of the Kingdom, there's a whole lot you can do, specifically because you can build stuff, and now we're having a top-down Zelda game that's supposed to be not necessarily sandbox, but that same kind of like open-ended puzzle design. But we know this game is going to have so much less complexity than anything you could even do in like Breath of the Wild. Much less Tears.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, you know, on paper, like none of this is awful or anything. It's just, I think it's a shame that like the instant I see a top-down Zelda, I think, okay, we're getting a Zelda game again, where, like, this is going to be my cup of tea. After Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, you know, I like a lot about those games, but they don't have staying power for me after a first playthrough.
Okay.
And now it's going to be the same thing. In the first game where Zelda's playable, which I've also always wanted. But I know I'm wrong.
See, at least he knows.
See, for me, I think I'm sure we've had this conversation time and time again, and we'll have it time and time again before and after. I think that having everything on such a linear path defies the whole point of Zelda for me. And that's because I think of it as like, and I'm not against the idea, or I'm not against the idea of like linear style gameplay or linear style dungeons at all. I just think that I would much rather have creative control over my environment in that regard, to be like, hey, even if I have to do this thing, I have to fight a boss a certain way, or I have to do this a certain way, I have to do that a certain way. And I understand what you mean, where you're worried that like all Zelda games are going to be like this. I don't think.
Yeah,
all,
I don't. No. I think they're doing this for the Zelda game because they wanted to give Zelda something unique besides the sword and shield, which is the right move. I don't want her to play like Link.
Yeah.
That would be really boring.
Exactly.
You know. And this does. I do have to commend Aonuma that this does kind of reflect the whole thing about how she's the wielder of the Triforce of Wisdom. So the game is more focused on problem solving than like. Whereas Link has like a 50-50 mix of problem solving and action, this leans much more towards the problem solving with like a little bit of action. That's like a really cool thing. I like that. And don't get me wrong too, is I don't want everything in a Zelda game to only have one solution, but Tears of the Kingdom in this game in particular feel like everything you can do anything. And for me, for the way that I enjoy games to be designed, it's like, it's overload. It's like when you have so many options, I'm going to end up defaulting to the most basic stuff after a few hours of experimentation.
Dominant strategy.
But again, not everyone suffers from that. I think we'll get more traditional Zelda stuff later on, especially when like Link comes back to be the main character. It's fine. It's just, you know.
I think especially with the new console coming out next year, they're going to have some sort of...
Yeah.
Because we're not going to get... I think there will be at least one more top-down type Zelda game where it'll be more of a traditional gameplay, because they're not going to wait 5, 6, 7 years before another Zelda release.
I think it's going to be a while till the next 3D Zelda.
Yeah. Which is fine. I'm totally fine waiting for that. Tears of the Kingdom, I'll go back and play that multiple times. But it's just like, yeah, I get that. Will, time to cream.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to ask you something. So, like, and I can kind of understand this, but it's a little bit of a foreign concept to me. So you've never played any Horizon game?
I have never played any Lego game.
Really?
What? Okay.
Yeah,
Any Lego game.
I was like, why are you freaking out over Horizon when you don't care about Horizon?
Technically, that's not true. So, way back in ye olden days, when my family had a big, bulky desktop PC, there were 2 Lego games I'd play on it. One was, I think it was called Lego Creator, and the other was, I think just called Legoland. And like the Legoland one, you get to build your own Lego theme park, which is really cool. And it has the catchiest loop of music that I've ever heard in my entire life, and I still remember it 20 fucking years later, like literally by heart. And the Creator one was cool because it's basically a sandbox. You could build anything, but this was also a game developed in like 2001, running on a 1990s Dell desktop PC bought from Best Buy secondhand.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the frame rate was approximately 2.5 frames per hour. It ran. Good. And I remember it running like ass, but still being pretty cool.
I'm kind of surprised that you haven't played like Lego Batman, Lego City.
I have never played
Lego Star Wars.
Well, here's the thing with my whole thing with Lego games. Up until recently, I'm gonna use Lego City Undercover as an example. So
formerly a Nintendo exclusive. Continue.
Yeah. So you guys know GTA 4.
Most important Wii U game, by the way. Yes.
So replace GTA 4. Okay, replace the people with Lego minifigures, and that's basically what the world of Undercover looks like.
Mhm.
Like there's there's barely any Lego assets whatsoever.
Like it's just the characters.
Like it's the characters. The cars are Lego cars. Like some of the vehicles are. But like the buildings, the streets, even the trees and the nature are all like realistic looking, which is really kind of weird for me because it doesn't look right. But the newer games that have been coming out the past few years are all made of Lego bricks.
Which does make more sense, yeah.
Yeah, and they actually too. It's really cool how they did it because
Lego Star Wars, I think, cheats it a little bit.
they could cheat it a little bit, yeah.
Because I know for tree assets, they're like not entirely Lego trees.
Yeah, exactly. And they what they did with the newer one is they did it the same way they made the Lego Movie, where you can literally build any scene in it. Like it's specifically designed and framed to where you can build that scene with Lego bricks.
Cool.
And I'm pretty sure, from what I could tell in the gameplay too, the way the characters move is also accurate to the way an actual Lego minifigure move and stuff. So yeah, when I saw the footage and realized it was all bricks and I could build whatever I saw there,
Yeah,
I achieved sexual nirvana.
That adds a lot more context to why you're freaking out about it. That does sound pretty substantial. I thought you were just like, I like Lego and it's a Lego game. I was like,
no. It was like the
he's
Lego.
screaming over that.
No, it was like the Lego of Lego games.
So another thing I wanted to bring up specifically about this, I think I said this in the direct, was I don't think another Lego game has looked this nice.
No. The last time, in my opinion, the last time we had a great looking Lego game was Lego Worlds, which was like, I don't even know, like 2015? Something like that. It was a good minute. And it wasn't like this, but yeah, like this, the game is like gorgeous. Like drop dead.
The
I'm
lighting
bleeding in my blood veins right now. Gorgeous.
The lighting is really good in it.
Oh my God,
and
it was amazing.
Even that the ground, like with specifically, and I can speak for the Star Wars saga at least. I know that the ground is not all bricks.
For Star Wars.
For certain like landscapes, like like in like cities, the concrete will be like that, but like in nature, they'll have like the dirt paths.
That's what it was for Undercover and stuff, yeah. But like for this, it's literally all Lego, which is insane. I'm like modern video games are a blessing. It's amazing. I feel like I'm in the future.
Do you think they have to in-game assemble all the assets for the Lego?
It's like, all right, loading up this next stage. It'll take approximately 4 hours. But yeah, I mean, and it looks like from what I remember, you can customize your character, which looks like it's also a nod to the collectible minifigures, which I like because some of the costumes I recognize from actual minifigures that I have, and you can probably build your own character with the bricks that they have available, which is fucking amazing. They might even tie that game in with some sets that they might release because they usually do that kind of stuff. I know they did the same for Star Wars and for Undercover. So they might have, like, once the game releases, Lego might release sets that go in tandem with it.
Wait, Lego City Undercover, the best Wii U game?
Yes, facts.
Yeah. All right, just trying to remember.
I remember when that came out, and I was debating of getting a Wii U, and then I saw gameplay footage of it, and I was kind of like, it looks fun and cute and all, but I think I'll pass. Yeah. And I dodged a bullet.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so it's really interesting to me that like, Aloy is such a big, because Horizon's a big PlayStation IP, that Aloy is, kind of, I guess you could call her like a mascot. And they're just letting her be on Xbox and Nintendo.
It's Lego.
It's Lego. Okay. Yeah, and that's exactly why. Like, they're never gonna like. I don't think they're ever gonna put the first game like remastered onto like Xbox Series and Switch or something, right? No. I think it's just because it's Lego, that's why. But it's still really weird that like they would let this not be an exclusive at all, given that like Sony kind of. I mean, they're not as desperate for PS5 exclusives now, and it would be weird if the Lego game didn't come to PS4. So I kind of get why at that point it's just let's just bring it all to everything, I'm sure Lego games probably sell best on Switch anyway, like, you know, how Minecraft does. A lot of kids have Switches.
Oh yeah.
It's probably the most popular console for kids. You know, it's cheap, it's Nintendo. It's portable.
Yep.
And stuff.
It is indeed, and stuff.
I just, I wanted to make the case for that. Like Miles Edgeworth. Sorry. This was inevitable. They've been re-releasing every Ace Attorney game ever made to everything in the last, like, 6 years. Before they come out with the Ace Attorney 7, which they announced, like, 6 years ago. It's just never getting made like Dragon Quest 12.
I mean, hey, who knows? I'm sure it'll be
it's probably coming in the next couple of years, because after this, the only other Ace Attorney game that will not have had a re-release, and it will happen in the next couple of years, I guarantee it, is Professor Layton Cross Ace Attorney, which you now remember is a thing. That's the only one that has been ported to consoles. But the cool thing about Investigations specifically is, just like the Great Ace Attorney duology, like those games never left Japan, we got the first Miles Edgeworth game. The second one was only in Japan. For reasons, I don't know. But now we're getting both. It's really interesting. I don't know if any of the other games have let you switch between graphical styles. Because, like, when I played the...
yeah, I remember seeing that,
right, because, like, I played the original trilogy when that got re-released, and, like, those are originally GBA games, but it's just, like, everything's just, like, hand-drawn portraits and stuff. You know, I'm kind of glad I'm not playing a GBA game in 1080p full screen, but, like, I think this is the first time they've done this. I don't know, this is just interesting to me. I guess there's not a whole lot else to say besides the pursuit themes for Edgeworth, both ones from both of these games, are the best pursuit themes in the series. # don't at me. You should listen to them, Ryan. They're called, the one from the first game is called Lying Coldly, and the second one is called Wanting to Find the Truth, I think.
Okay.
And the first one, it's kind of like, it sounds a little more like somber. It's got some like nice piano and strings, a little more like dramatic than Phoenix's ones. And then the second one, it sounds like a fucking anime OP. It sounds like it would play over like Jujutsu Kaisen. It's so good. I love Capcom's music. Ace Attorney is a series I love because of the music, and then just that everything else is usually good is the cherry on top. That's why I've been saying for years, like, I don't need Phoenix Wright to be in Smash. I don't need a stage. I don't need an assist trophy. I just want them to do the music, you know?
It's good music. I mean, that was definitely one of my most favorable parts of playing the game, was just listening to the jams that would play.
It's so weird because, you know, the premise of you're playing through like a courtroom drama visual novel, it's like, yeah, it's gonna click with some people, but I think the music alone gives it its broader appeal. Like, I don't think I've ever played a game with the soundtrack that, like, emotionally compelling and thematically fitting and well-timed and well-paced as... So far, I've only played the first 3 Ace Attorney games, but it seems like all the games just have, like, incredibly precise and well-thought-out music direction. I don't know. Like, it's not something I've ever thought about for any other game.
Well, it's just that they really know what matters in a scene, and what matters is setting, what matters is placement of music, you know?
Yeah.
And that kind of is what struck me when I played the first 2 games. I still haven't really gotten around to the third. I need to, but
it's good. I like it more than 2, if that means anything.
Okay. But, like, just saying that when I played the first 2 games, like, they really knew how to accentuate the settings and kind of, like, use the music properly whenever it would be more impactful in a scene, like, where, like, you uncovered something or you discovered something, or things go silent, things just matter differently, and it's just, like, that's the type of stuff that I like to, you know, just be able to be a part of when I'm playing the games.
Oh, the one last thing I want to point out about the Miles Edgeworth games is you play as Edgeworth and like Gumshoe is always by your side, just like he was in the first couple Ace Attorney games. In other words, when you're playing Ace Attorney Investigations 1 and 2, you're playing as me and Ryan. And you should know that.
Who's who?
I'm Edgeworth because I'm an asshole. And he's Gumshoe because he's 15 foot 95.
With broad shoulders.
With broad shoulders. Bro, we get you a brown coat and like it's done. We show up to UMaCon or like South by Southwest or Comic-Con and it's over, bro.
All I have to do is stand and just do that like face.
Yeah, and just like scratch your head occasionally and you're Dick Gumshoe. You're him.
Yep.
It's him. I love that name, Dick Gumshoe. It's so good.
Now for is it time?
It is.
Is it really time?
So on the 18th of June, we were given the typical Nintendo treatment of, hey, we've got one more thing. And as the curtain fell, we were presented with the cinematic reveal of Drew's cum stain, and which quickly turned into Drew's wet spot, overflowing into we need to build a dam. And now Metroid Prime 4 is upon us.
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yes! Oh my god.
The Lord has been very good this day.
I don't know the last time I've almost been brought to tears over a fucking trailer. But it's because, like, I was telling Ryan this after recording, like, Dread, I was screaming because that was a game that was canceled, like, 15 years ago, and then just with no warning at all, yeah, here it is, it comes out in 3 months.
It wasn't just that, though. I think it was a 1-2 punch, and I think I said this in the conversation, too, where I said it was a double whammy, because at first you were just like, oh shit, 2D Metroid.
Yeah,
and then you see the title, which you're just like, wait, this is real.
Yeah,
this is like
GBA DS game that has only ever been rumored about, not even confirmed. And now it's like, yes, all that was real, and you're getting a new game, and it's coming out in 3 months. And the cool robots doing the contortion shit. Oh my god.
It was just a whole adventure.
This, I was legitimately, like, emotional. I felt, like, overwhelmed because I hate it when companies talk about new games too early. And I get why they did it with Prime 4, and I get why they did it when they did. Because before then, before that Direct, E3 2017, Samus's last 2 games were Other M in 2009 that no one liked. It messed up her characterization. People were mixed on the gameplay. And then, like, 2015, 2016, you get Metroid Prime Federation Force. And it's basically just, like, it's a fine game, but it's basically, like, a co-op shooter that some random company was making for 3DS. And then Nintendo's like, let's put Metroid on it and it'll sell more, you know? The reason you're playing as Federation soldiers is because they're faceless, because they're not characters. They're not characters. Like, oh yeah, it's a Galactic Federation, sure, yeah, you're employee 1375B.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, so E3 2017, Nintendo is seeing, you know, they're responding to criticism. They're like, okay, so we have Metroid Samus Returns planned, and that's cool, but 1, it's a remake, and 2, it's only coming to 3DS. We're not making this for Switch. People think the 3DS is dead. We still want to support it for a while. Why don't we announce a console Metroid game, even if we haven't started development, because we've been playing it anyway? And that's why we got a big blue 4 in the sky, and then 16 minutes of Yoshi's Crafted World. It was very important. Please understand.
Hate Nintendo sometimes.
And then 2019, we get the announcement that the game is not only restarting development, it wasn't even the same studio. I think Bandai Namco was making the game initially. And then, we don't know why, but they just said, like, we just wanted to restart development, and then they gave it back to Retro. So yeah, in modern day, games take like 5-6 years to make. I understand why all this has happened, but it still felt like a punch in the balls every single Nintendo Direct for the last 7 years.
And then this year's Direct came.
I have been sterile for ages. Please help me.
And then he just incinerated
I'd
someone.
like to put this into context. So, as our viewers should know, I am a wrestling fan very clearly. Recently, there was a 1,300 title reign that finally ended, and when it did, I exclaimed to the top of my lungs, "That was the longest 1,300-day edging session of my life." And
I caught it in my mouth.
And I think for Drew, I think
he beat you on that.
I think for Drew, this was the longest 7-year edging session of his life.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And it didn't help that, like, in 2019, before, I think just a couple months before, they said Metroid Prime 4 is restarting development, Silk Song was announced. It's like, oh, cool, well, we'll get this in, like, the next, like, 2-3 years. And again, like, look, I'm sure when the game comes out, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I know it's taking forever because Team Cherry is probably still a very small team.
It's 5 people likely in a crammed office space trying to get
And they just
shit done.
announced it early because they were excited. And the game is definitely going to be bigger in scope than Hollow Knight. Like, that much is a guarantee at this point, to some extent at least.
Wasn't it at first that they were just planning a DLC for it? And then...
Yes, because Hollow Knight was a Kickstarter game, and it was one of those, like, oh, wait, this is actually going to be good.
Yeah.
Kickstarter games.
Yeah, so they had to take time.
But, yeah, they reached a goal for Silk Song DLC, and then they were like, okay, we just want to make a new game. But it kills me, because the year that they showed off that trailer, at E3, we got a playable demo. And I know that doesn't mean the game's almost done. It almost never means a game's almost done just because we're showcasing a demo. But, like...
It got hopes up that there would be something new.
Yeah.
Sort of news.
And then 2022, it's been 3 years, shows up at Xbox's showcase, and they say all these games are coming out in a year. And I know that's not a guarantee. I know Xbox can't make them. Xbox doesn't fucking own Team Cherry, but it's like, come on, right? So now that game has abandoned me, the other game that abandoned me before that is coming back. And Mina the Howler is still not coming out this year. And I know it's not Metroidvania, but it still hurts me.
Mia looks good, though.
I still wish we had a camera recording Drew's reaction to...
I'm good, though. No, I think that's fine.
Eventually. Eventually we'll get cameras.
Yeah.
No, maybe shove it up your ass. That's fine. I think, no.
Because I want to capture my reactions, too.
Yeah.
I've never seen you in such a state.
I will be the guy that wears the paper bag. I'll draw a new silly face on it for every video.
I'll take it.
That might be funnier, honestly.
Because you'll end up ripping it up and be like, what?
Look, it's not because I think I'm ugly or something. I don't know. Like, I don't like being on camera because it makes me more aware of myself than I usually am. And I already have, like, an anxious mindset about everything. So, like, I recognize it's completely irrational. I'm not really all that, like... I like how I look as a person.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't when I was a kid. When I became an adult, like, I got used to it. I'm perfectly fine with, like, how my face and my hair and my body
You're
looks.
content with it.
Yeah. I like it even, but just me being seen on camera for some reason, like, that makes my blood freeze. I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna run 5 miles in that direction until the police apprehend you. I'm calling them right now. So paper bag, I think that'd be a fun little gimmick.
Sure.
Yeah.
We could draw neat faces on it.
We won't even draw a face, we'll just write on the top Drew and just cut 2 eye holes up.
This is a bit of a side tangent, but for every motherfucker that's ever said, I want Silex in Super Smash Brothers for the past 10 years, I'm going to tell everyone why everyone who's ever said that is a fucking idiot. I know this topic everyone cares about very much.
This is my first time even knowing who this guy is.
I don't even know what that is.
Silex is that guy that appeared at the end of...
weird vertical helmet. So he showed up in Metroid Prime Hunters, which is a game that no one fucking played, first of all. And he barely does anything in that game. That game doesn't really have like a focus on story because Metroid usually doesn't anyway. But there's like a bunch of other like rival hunters that Samus fights, and he's one of them. Ellipses, I guess. Period. Ellipses. Question mark. But he's like the cool one. But they're all kind of cool. I don't know. And then he shows up at the end of Prime 3, where you see his ship.
Okay.
That game has nothing to do with him. That's all about Dark Samus. None of the other hunters from Prime Hunters show up. None of them have ever returned again. Okay. But at the end of the game, you see a little teaser, and Silex drives his ship through space. And that's supposed to mean something. Ellipses, I guess. Question mark. Metroid Prime Federation Force, a game that no one played, no one liked, no one cared about. You 100% that game. Something that most people already aren't going to do. Especially for a co-op multiplayer game. And not single player? Who the fuck is 100%ing that? If you 100% the game, you finally see him do something for the first time in 10 years, and he steals some Metroids from the Galactic Federation. And that's it.
Okay.
And people have been clamoring for this guy in Smash, and it's another fucking Impa situation. Except Impa I can kind of understand, where it's like, you don't want this character because you think they're cool. You want them because you want this series to have another character. Impa at least became cool in Hyrule Warriors. Silex has never had that moment. He kind of sort of will in Metroid Prime 4, and then every other Metroid fan without a brain is gonna clamor that he should be in Smash because Ridley and Samus aren't enough. When they are... That's all we need. Metroid has two characters, and it's them.
I don't even think we need Zero Suit, honestly. I mean...
Oh, we'll get into that next show. We'll get into that. Yep. But yeah, I don't know. Speaking of things without brains, or less than you'd expect... That was actually a really clever segue. Holy shit, I'm proud of myself for that. I did not plan that. The Metroids that show up next to Silex, one, you'll notice that they're not immediately sucking all the life out of his head like Metroids do with everything ever, because it's tying into when he stole those. So, like, at first I was thinking, oh, is he using, like, a device to, like, tame these things? Because, like, the Space Pirates have never had control of these little guys. They're just, like, dangerous creatures that suck everything in sight. But I assumed it. Yeah, I know you're very interested. Well, we'll buy you one Adam and Eve later.
Thank you.
That'd be so scary. Oh no, I don't like thinking about that.
It's like the popcorn tubs for the movies.
No, not the Dune popcorn tubs.
Why does your Metroid have a big hat? Mind your business.
Anyway, the Metroids next to Silex. So Metroids have 3 brains. These guys only have 1 in their little, like, bubble heads. Which is a weird callback to, God, what was it? I think Super Metroid in, like, the 90s and nothing else. Mocktroids were the Space Pirates' first attempts at cloning Metroids.
Okay.
So they're coming back, which ties into that you see Silex with the Space Pirates, because he didn't work with them before. This seems to be some kind of partnership. And that's it. That's everything I have to say on Prime 4. There's not really a whole lot to get into with this trailer, besides, like, that ending area looks really cool. But 2025, it's fine, it's not coming out this year. We have a lot coming out this year. Zelda, Mario and Luigi, a bunch of third-party stuff. Mario Party. We're gonna be fine. This can come out next year. That's one other thing to talk about. You look at the footage, you blow it up to maximum resolution on YouTube, and even with YouTube, like, making game footage look shitty as usual, you can tell from the footage, this is not a Switch 2 game. Or at least, like, if they're making a Switch 2 version, they didn't show it off here. This is the Switch version. Some of the textures look muddy. Other than that, it looks solid. This just looks like a well-running Switch game. which is fine. I think it looks just as good as it needs to. I wasn't expecting more than this. I was expecting less than this.
I know.
But
yeah.
like the instant that Samus comes out of her ship and like that huge Federation battleship explodes and starts sinking in the sky, like, oh my god, that looks so good. As long as like, you know, like all the colors look good, everything looks modeled well enough. They're going for that kind of realistic sci-fi look. It's perfect. I think 1080p will be fine.
It should be.
The question is, are they going to do a Switch 2 version? And that, I mean, you know, it's as up in the air as it's ever going to be. But I think the Switch version will be fine. So even if it doesn't get like a higher res version, I won't be complaining. I think this can just come out around the time of Switch 2, and if that's backwards compatible, well, there you go.
Fair enough. I agree.
It's just because that's been a point of contention with a lot of fans. It's like, are they keeping quiet about Prime 4, you know, until the Direct? Because it's going to be a Switch 2 game. And the answer seems to be, as far as we can tell without making assumptions, no, it's just this game took a while, and it's coming out late into the system. That's it. You know, same with like, is Echo's Wisdom going to be a Switch 2 game? No, it's just coming out on like the Switch's last big year.
It's funny, I close my eyes and I just picture that Prime 4 trailer and I'm just like...
It's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was really good, especially in the fact of like getting you excited for it.
Yeah, they just showed off like the first area.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need. And then the trailer, you see that forest area. That's like the first big area. Yeah. Look, if you show me a place in fiction with a big tree, we're getting married. That's all I need. Dragon Quest XI had a big tree. That's one of the best games I've ever played. Just put big trees and things. It's good. This Nintendo Direct was a big tree out of 5. You look like you have been ready to pass out into eternal sleeping beauty slumber for the past 2 hours.
I didn't get much sleep.
That's okay. I didn't. I was dreaming of Kuromi.